Okay guys, we are filming, so let's jump right in. We're gonna test out some new makeup. We're going to do a full Q&A, girl talk Q&A, chill, get ready with me. You're gonna probably hear Logan screaming in the background because he is going through it right now. Ethan's taking care of him, and let's do this video. Okay, so I'm gonna try and make this makeup look relatively simple, kind of like a quick get out the door type of look, but maybe like a little more elevated than that. We're gonna see, because I'm gonna try out some new makeup. So it may be a little bit more than that, but I wanna share stuff I've been using that I love, kind of like a 5-minute mom face, but it's gonna be more than 5 minutes because I'm gonna be answering all your questions. So starting with the Buildable Blur CC cream from Thrive. I actually forgot about this stuff. Shade is light medium. If you are new to my channel and you stumbled across this video, I have a bunch of pregnancy vlogs. So if you're interested in hearing about my pregnancy journey, check those vlogs out. I also did a first trimester, second trimester, and third trimester Q&A. So there'll be a lot of information in those videos. I'm gonna try and not be redundant with that type of stuff, but I do wanna answer as many questions as possible. So first one, did you change anything about your diet or lifestyle while you were trying to get pregnant? So we started tracking my ovulation cycle. We did that with, I forget what app, but I will check. Just adding a little bit more for a little bit more coverage right here. What ended up happening was we decided to start trying, and what we found out like a month later was that I was already pregnant. So we got extremely lucky. Didn't change what I was eating. I did start taking a prenatal because one thing I heard was if you don't know you're pregnant for a while, which I ended up not. I didn't know I was pregnant until I was 8 weeks pregnant, so 2 months pregnant. And the baby's spine, I believe, is like one of the first things to develop. So it's really good to have a prenatal going kind of in your system in case you get pregnant and you don't know it. It's good that you're taking the vitamin already. Does that make sense? I hope I'm making sense. I'm running on very little sleep today. One, have you experienced any PPA? Which I actually had to Google that. It's postpartum anxiety. And the answer is yes. I still get it. It happens when I am breastfeeding. I get this wave of anxiety like right when he latches or right when I'm pumping. Sometimes it's really overwhelming and I'll just like actually start to cry. And I know it's hormonal. I don't know if that's technically anxiety, but it feels like anxiety to me. And I know there's like a release or rush of hormones coming from your brain while you're breastfeeding. So I know that that's what it is. And I know that like if I just power through the next like couple minutes, it'll go away. Other than like the first couple weeks when I was really sleep deprived, I haven't had that crazy of anxiety. It comes in waves and it's relatively the same as what it was before I was pregnant, other than the breastfeeding thing. That really throws me sometimes. I wonder if any of you guys have ever experienced that. Look how good that makes the skin look. That was the Rare Beauty Concealer. Poor Ethan just dealing with his child. Okay, so I got this PR package from Nude Sticks. It actually came in a long time ago, but it was delivered to the wrong address, so I actually just ended up getting it. It has a whole freaking bunch of their Nude Love monochromatic multitasking makeup collection. So I'm gonna start using a couple of these. Okay, next question. I'm 20 weeks and my nipples started leaking. Did that happen to you? That happened to me not at 20 weeks, so I feel like that didn't happen to me till like 30 weeks. But it ended up being a really great thing because I think it's part of the reason that I have a really good supply. So if that's happening to you, that's a good, I honestly think that's a good thing. It was crazy though. I remember the first time it happened, I was like, what? This is pretty. This is that terracotta shade in Nude Sticks. I'll try and use their brush too. I don't usually love the brush, but we'll try it. I just feel like it like wipes it away. So yeah, I feel like the earlier the leakage or the more leakage, the better. It happened to me. It ended up being a really good thing. And I ended up just like texting one of my good friends who has 2 babies now. And she was like, yep, you're gonna need to buy the breast pads anyway for when you start breastfeeding. So just get those now. And that's what I did. I ended up just ordering them. I'll link them for you guys. They're basically just like this pad that sticks to your shirt or bra, and if you start leaking, it'll catch it. Yeah, I feel like these products are so good with your fingers. Isn't that nice? When did you first feel baby moving? I feel like this happened at like 20 weeks. Check my second trimester Q&A, but I'm pretty sure that was 20 weeks. Or it might have been like 25 weeks. I remember I was expecting a lot of things to happen at 20 weeks and it didn't. These are teeth brushes, by the way. This video is gonna be all over the place, fair warning. But these teeth brushes are so good. They make everything blend in seamlessly. I'm just kind of going over everything with this. Recommendations for nausea, pops, ginger, ale, etc. I will link everything below, but I have a full blog post on like basically you just found out you're pregnant, what do you do, what do you need? I will link that blog post for you guys because it's an extensive list of everything you need immediately, including all that stuff. Postpartum hair loss hairstyles. I couldn't make anything look cute. Yeah, that hasn't happened to me yet. Yeah, I'm dreading that. I've heard that can happen after you stop breastfeeding. So since I'm currently breastfeeding, I think maybe that's why it hasn't happened yet, or maybe it's not gonna happen to me, but I have a feeling it will happen to me. So I don't know yet. I'm hoping I can figure something out, and if and when it does, I will share that with you guys, but right now I'm not dealing with that yet. I would say if you are, a lot of the time it happens in the front of your head. So headbands, I feel like hats, bandanas, stuff like that, stuff that can cover this up, or if you have enough hair to pull in front of it. So that's just like off the top of my head what I would recommend, but like I don't know yet because I haven't dealt with that yet. This question really made me laugh. How do you know when to feed and put your baby to sleep? I don't even know if I know how to answer this. This is a really pretty color. This is that plum color. At the beginning, the baby sleeps a lot when they're tired. The baby just sleeps and eats basically at the beginning. And when they're crying at the beginning, it's because they're hungry or tired or have a dirty diaper. That's basically it. Obviously, unless something else is going on, like they're sick or something, but you kind of follow their lead. That's what we've done anyway. Honestly, a lot of it, like I feel like this question just speaks to like, oh my God, what do I do? I'm freaking out because I don't know how I'm gonna know what to do, which I completely understand that sentiment. A lot of it is instinctual and you just kind of figure it out and it ends up being fine. At a certain point, something clicks and you're like, yep, I know what you need. You start to get to know the baby better. You can kind of recognize the different cries, like, okay, he's really hungry. That's the hungry cry. That's the tired cry. You kind of start figuring that out. We're still figuring that out, but we're starting to kind of pick up on his signals and like the way he's communicating with us. What was the hardest part about being pregnant? Hardest thing about pregnancy? The mental aspect. Physically, it is brutal, but mentally, it's like the most draining, hardest thing I've ever done. I just was over it. I was pretty miserable by the end. That was the hardest part, like mentally being like, oh my God, I have another 10 weeks, or like, even I have another 5 weeks. Like, oh, it was so hard. Getting really big, not really recognizing yourself, like the body changes are insane, and that was really hard for me too. Pregnant and so stressed about breastfeeding. Everyone does something different. How do you know where to begin and what to recommend? Okay, don't stress about breastfeeding while you're pregnant. For sure, let that go. That's something that is so far away that you do not need to be worrying about right now. It's gonna work out the way it's supposed to. You are gonna go to the hospital and have your baby, and you're gonna try and breastfeed, and the nurses will help you. You will learn everything you need to learn before you take your baby home. That was my experience anyway. Our son Logan had a tongue tie, and breastfeeding was really challenging at the beginning because he could not latch because of that tongue tie. We ended up getting the tongue tie taken care of before we left the hospital. It helped a lot with his latch, but breastfeeding was like still challenging. He ended up figuring it out and he latches without a nipple shield, without anything now, and he's great, but it took a while. I would say it took like a good 2 months. But anyway, you're getting ahead of yourself. Don't stress about breastfeeding while you're pregnant. That's just completely out of your control, and you're gonna make it work the best you can, and if you can't make it work, that is okay. Like I used donor milk at the hospital for a period of time because he couldn't latch, my supply wasn't coming in very quickly, and we just used donor milk because we were like, he needs it, he'll be happier for it. It was a tough decision because I was like, I just wish I could give him my milk, but I just didn't have it yet. Just know like your hospital is gonna give you all the information. The nurses will help you. Don't stress yourself out about something that's so far away. How you stayed intimate during pregnancy. I have found myself just not in the mood. Oh man. I would say just listen to your body. Do whatever you can do in terms of like, well, that sounds bad. Do whatever you can do. I mean more like do not stress, like do what feels right for you and is best for you and your partner. Don't feel like you need to do anything that you don't want to do. Just remember, pregnancy is not forever. This is not a forever thing. This is a temporary thing. That is something that I feel like is good to remind yourself all the time about pregnancy. If you're having a rough one, like this is temporary, this is temporary, this is temporary. Well, it's not gonna last forever. Your mood may ebb and flow. There may be sometimes where you do feel like you're in the mood. Great. If you're not, also great. Like just get through your pregnancy and don't put too much pressure on yourself to do anything. Guys, my skin looks so good. What do you think? I'm very into this. I would just put like a mascara on now. In terms of healing, the hospital is gonna have everything you need. Everyone told me that and I believed them, but I also wanted to like have my own stuff too because I'm just like a type A person. And I was like, no, I need my own things. I don't know what they're gonna have. They'll have everything you possibly need. So do not worry about that. I had a C-section, so the healing was different than it might be for someone who did vaginal birth. Honestly though, the recovery was not nearly as bad as I expected it to be. The incision was much smaller than I expected. The first couple weeks was rough, mostly because of breastfeeding, because I couldn't like lift my body up because I had the incision and I couldn't like stand up totally straight and I couldn't walk for the first couple days. Your doctor in your hospital is gonna tell you how to heal and best things to do to heal based on what your labor was like. So again, I feel like a lot of these questions are super normal and definitely how I felt like, oh my God, how can I prepare? What can I do? What can I do? You could not prepare yourself. Comfort wise, yeah, there's definitely things. And I have a what's in my hospital bag with a bunch of links. I'll link that below for you guys. I'm so glad I overpacked because I ended up staying at the hospital. I was there for 5 days because of how crazy everything went down. It just would have sucked if I had run out of underwear and like comfy clothes and stuff like that. So I overpacked. I always overpack no matter where I'm going. And that was great for me and for my situation at the hospital. Worst case scenario, you had an extra bag that you brought and it was like kind of annoying to carry it in. But like, I feel like the alternative is worse, to not have something if you're there for a longer period of time. You know what I mean? Oh, I meant to use my Rare Beauty mascara. Hourglass sent over this ambient palette. I wanted to use it, completely forgot I had it because I was answering questions, but let's see. That is gorgeous. I'm definitely gonna try and use it. What was your biggest struggle postpartum, in the thick of it right now and feel so alone? Oh my God. Please don't feel alone. You're not alone. It is a struggle. I just feel like you need to lean on your partner as much as you possibly can. I feel like we get a grip on something and then he totally changes. And I think that's just kind of gonna be like what it is. You start to feel like you get a grip on something and then it changes, like he changes. Honestly, the sleep deprivation, that is the hardest thing because it affects your mental state so much. If you're not mentally right, you're gonna start fighting with your partner. You're not gonna be like in the headspace you want to be for your baby. So I just feel like if there's anything you can do to help your sleep, do it. That was the main reason we ended up buying the snoo, because we were like, you know what, if it ends up not being worth it, oh well, we wasted some money, but like it has been so worth it. It has given us so many extra hours of sleep that we would not have gotten. That's been my hardest thing. That and the anxiety. And you know what else? Like getting back to work and feeling like myself and having time to do my work. Like we're trying to figure out childcare, if that's gonna be a thing. I feel guilty sometimes when I'm working and I'm not with him, which I think is like a normal mom guilt thing. That's been really hard. I'm like, I have to work, right? Like I have to make money, but like I don't wanna miss out on things like his first of anything. Don't feel alone. We are in this together. There are so many of us in this, and I want this to be like a community where we can kind of provide that type of support for each other. So you are not alone. My child is crying hard right now, so that's fun to listen to. This is when I start to feel guilty. I'm like, I should be with him. I shouldn't be working. We're almost done this video. I need to go make sure he's okay. Okay, so he's fine. Ethan was walking in as I was walking out. He's like, his eyes are shut. He's basically asleep, but he's fighting it so hard, and that's what he does. It's brutal. I'm like, honey, just close your eyes. It's gonna feel so much better when you're asleep. All right, I feel like I get this question a lot. What do you think is the best thing to do to prepare for labor? Exercise is anything else. Preparing for something that is so unpredictable is really pointless. Sure, there are things you can do to prepare your body, prenatal yoga, stuff like that. Like people were saying like Kegels. Talk to your OB about that. I cannot give you recommendations on that. I truly did not really do anything. I try to stay as active as I could, but like at the end of the day, your body knows what it's doing. I just wouldn't stress yourself out about like, oh my God, I need to prepare for labor. Like you cannot. Sorry if that answer sucks. I like this lip liner a lot. This is the shade M from Thrive Cosmetics, EM. This question says, in your opinion, how bad should period cramps be? I am not an OB. I won't touch this question with a 10-foot pole, I'm sorry. You gotta talk to your doctor about that. I'm terrified of birth, and how painful is it really? Like, how bad does it get? The good, the bad, the ugly of labor. Terrified of labor. Tearing makes me want to die. Was it horrible? Okay, so a lot of questions about labor and that you're terrified of it, and I completely understand and I get it. But guys, like, our bodies were built for this. Like, we got this. Like, it's an insane thing that we are able to do, and only we are able to do it. There's a reason men cannot do it. They wouldn't be able to. That's what I think. I feel like the worst thing you can do is be terrified of it and stress yourself out about it. You have to just have faith that it's gonna be okay, and it's in your doctor's hands and you're all set. Truly, it was the hardest, scariest thing I've ever done. My brain has since blocked out a lot of what I went through because it was so traumatic. Like, it is trauma. I'm not trying to scare you. I talked about this in my birth story video, but I'm gonna try the Rare Beauty mascara. I watched a birth story video like a week before I went into labor, which was the stupidest thing I could have done. No two labors are the same, and there's no point in stressing yourself out about something that someone else experienced that you may not even experience. And even if you do experience it, there's no point in stressing yourself out about it because there's nothing you can do about it. Okay, I'm 3 months postpartum now. I don't even care what I had to go through to get him. Like, I truly don't care. It doesn't matter how traumatizing it was. It doesn't matter that the recovery was for a C-section and, you know, I didn't really want to have a C-section. Like, none of it matters because I have him. So, like, you have to remember, like, we did it for a reason. We're not just doing it to put ourselves through something insane just to, like, say we did. Like, right? Like, there's a reason you got pregnant. It's for the baby at the end of it, and he is beyond worth it. I would go through hell for that child. I did. I don't care. Like, that's how much I love him. I hope that, like, eases your mind a little bit about it. I'm not gonna lie to you, it's insane. But some people have, like, labors that are, like, in and out in a few hours, and it's not a big deal at all. So, like, why stress yourself out about something that you have no clue and no control over how it's gonna be, you know? Do you still have the rush of emotions during letdown when breastfeeding? Yes. I talked about this a little bit at the beginning of this video, but oh my God, like, today I started breastfeeding and I literally was like, it's okay to cry, just cry. Like, you're gonna feel better if you just let it out. And I just, like, had a couple tears come out and I was like, okay, you're okay, move right along, you know? Just know that that's normal. That's something that I've experienced and it sucks, but it's okay. Like I said, after the first couple of minutes, like, you get through it and then I feel fine. I don't even think I need to set my face, which is amazing. The older I get, the more powder looks worse on me. So if I can not have to use powder, it's a good thing. What app do you use to track developmental leaps for Logan? It's called Wonder Weeks. It's awesome. Period postpartum, period after pregnancy. I actually got my first period at 6 weeks and I couldn't believe it. I actually thought something was wrong. I called my doctor and he was like, oh, it's probably just your period. And I was like, oh, I didn't think I could get it that fast. I did, I got it at 6 weeks. Then I got it again a month after that. And then I got it again 2 weeks after that. So I'm still not regular, which is annoying, but hopefully we'll get back on track soon. The first period was awful. I had cramps. It was heavy. It was like, oh, not good. Each one has gotten considerably better. So how has your relationship changed with your husband? Honestly, it's just bonded us even more. It's like, we just have this thing that we're both so obsessed with and only us understand how obsessed each other are about him. You know what I mean? Only we know that love we feel for him. So I just think it's made us even closer. And it's also like such a challenge. Every day is so crazy and we're just like overcoming challenges. It's not all roses and sunshine. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that, but like, at the end of the day, I think it's really brought us closer. What are some things you wish you had known before you started trying? Just like, be really ready. Like, if you're trying, like, picture yourself with a baby. Actually, don't be like, oh, you know, it might take 6 months, might take a year, so then I'll be ready. It's like, no, make sure if you're trying, like, you are ready right now, right now. Like, if a baby popped out tomorrow, would you be ready? Okay, so that was most of the questions that came in. I hope I answered the majority of them for you guys. I hope this was helpful. Honestly, this makeup looks really good, like a 5-minute mom look. I'm gonna link everything below for you guys. Got to see like how I applied them, so hopefully that was also helpful for you. I will see you next time. If you are a mom and you have any shared experiences with me, or you have any advice for any of the questions that I asked, please leave them below because I think people really appreciate that. And like I said, I want this to be like a community where we can all kind of like help support each other, especially postpartum, because this shit is crazy. Anyway, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will see you next time. Bye.